Hello, everybody.
Yay, here we are.
Oh, it's so exciting to be together again.
I know it's like old times, Emerson. I'm feeling
sure
like that deja vu thing.
It is. I know it's been so long since we've gathered this way. If you are watching, welcome to the 2023 Del Shores Foundation Writer's Search Winners Reveal Extravaganza.
Yes, we are so happy to be here. And happy Pride, everybody. It's Pride Month. Except to Ron DeSantis. We're not wishing you a happy Pride.
Oh, we're not even going down that rodeo. You're like political Florida. It's funny when we picked this date way back originally, I didn't even think about it being the launch of Pride Month. Because it was the right time for our competition. And as difficult as things are, I mean, joking, but true, so many places, the way we show our pride is in our work, and recognizing a bunch of people whose pride is in who they are and in their work seems like there is no better way for us to launch our Pride Month as well.
Yeah, and Emerson, just on that topic, I said this at our events recently, but someone asked me recently, how do you fight the fight still? And I said through my work and through the foundation where others are expressing their art through their work and their opinions, and we make differences that way.
Yeah. There are so many ways that we fight. Pride is a celebration. Pride is a protest. Pride is visibility. Pride is being who you are in public. For some people is incredibly dangerous. It is revolutionary. There are so many ways. And even in that, if you're watching today, if you're joining us and you are not at a place to be out and proud, that is okay too. We stand on the front lines for you to join us when you can, when you are ready. There is no right path. There is no right timeline. I said last night, the atmosphere nationally feels loaded is the word I used. And thinking about as we head to Pride events and celebrations or protests, that you be careful, that you be safe, that you be smart, that even if you're going places you usually go, if it is a publicized Pride activity, go with somebody, have a plan. If you lose your phone or if you get separated, let's all do the things that we can and are able and want to be a part of, and be smart as we do it to ensure that we all are safe.
Safe and still have fun, because if you're not out, come on, it's kind of fun. We gays are fun, and
we do have a good time,
and we smell good.
And whether you are joining us today because you are a fan of the foundation, I can see lots of the writers already in the comments section. Some of our tried and true strongest supporters, from LaVonda Ann Walker herself is here. Matt Hayes, our board member, is here. We've got a bunch of the actual writers that we're going to be announcing shortly here. Jigs Burgess, who won last year, is here. So feel free to
Rosemary Alexander.
Share the broadcast, share it to your Facebook page, to your YouTube page. It will be available to watch permanently on our YouTube and on our Facebook. So if you're watching this back later, hello and thank you. And here at the Del Shores Foundation, many of you know, but our entire purpose, our entire goal is to find and elevate and create networks and opportunities for new LGBTQ plus Southern writers. That is why we are here. That is what we are doing. And after an incredible first year, we had our first writer search and our first festival in the fall. This year, for our second writer search, we increased submissions by over 25%. We had submissions from 14 of the 15 Southern states that qualify. Do you want to say your thing?
Yes. And last year we had our first Del Shores Foundation.
No. Sorry, I wasn't done. I thought you wanted to make your West Virginia joke.
Here's the deal, Emerson. I'm having a little technical issue with my script coming up at the same time as my thing. So you just keep on talking for a second.
Y'all just, remember, it's we are the tech team. We are the lighting designers. We do all the jobs. Also, so that for all of the donors that are watching and so many of our important ambassador circle that are here, thank you. We put your money to the best use possible, and what we are not doing is paying a studio team. We had submissions from 14 of the 15 states this year, up from 13 last year. Our one missing was West Virginia. So we are going to work on West Virginia for next year. We've got somebody specific on it. And our submitters ranged from age 21 to 78. You know, we've talked about with this organization that the importance is new storytellers at whatever phase you are in your life. Our winners this year range from 24 to 72. So it is about the story you have to tell wherever you are. So if you submitted, thank you. If you're here because you're a winner and we're about to announce it, thank you. But we are proud of what we are doing. And it's incredibly exciting, as you can tell. Did you get your script together?
I did. You know what? Vamp just a little bit more. I printed it out so that I'll at least have it on hand so I can see what's going on. I'm just seeing a script, and then I'm seeing, and I like to look at your pretty face, Emerson. I'll be right back.
I know that's what it is. He doesn't see my face often enough. See, look, we've got so many of our fun people here, and good old Rob. And Rosemary, who runs our ambassador circle, Dr. Eve herself. Jim's on our board. Jigs won last year. Oh, there it is.
There's the script. So is that all right?
Oh, you're doing great. Yeah, that looks perfect. We're doing excellent. So yeah, I love that. Watch it. Like you wouldn't believe that together we've produced 3 movies, a TV show, a national tour, and umpteen thousand theatrical events.
I don't know why I usually could put it up here so it looks like I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants,
just casually perusing
with with everything that you've written for me. So, but anyway, we did our
run through earlier, and he said, "You're just going to send it to me, and I'll just say what it says." And I said, "Yes."
Yes, there we go. But last year we had the very first Del Shores Foundation's Writers Festivals. We were 4 days in Dallas. We had fall panels. They were so amazing. We had so many great panelists, including one of our board members, Leslie Kimball, who I think is in the house. Rosemary and Newell were there. Ann Walker was there. And we had the amazing Jason Williams from Greater Tuna that I got to interview one-on-one. But more importantly, we were able to really help our finalists and our winners and help them with our, what we've been through and just say, hey, here's some advice. Maybe it's going to work for you. Maybe it's not, but take what you can and, leave under the seat what you don't need.
Right.
So, sometimes I think they go, oh, that's bullshit. So you just leave that bullshit away, and just take the good, the gems, because we'll throw out a bunch of gems for you. But we had such amazing guests, and thank you all for such a powerful 3 days. It was just, as we say in the church, it just warmed my heart.
And it was really special. It was our first proof of concept, the readings of all 3 of the scripts, the short on Friday night, the play on Saturday night, the screenplay on Sunday afternoon were incredibly special. We had more than 30 local Dallas actors come and join us to bring the scripts to life. So at the end of officially the first full year of our adventure here, it succeeded beyond our wildest expectations, and we're excited with this to truly launch a second round. And this week I've been emailing with the finalists and the semifinalists to get all of their information for our website, where you'll be able to read about them as soon as this broadcast is over. Because the biggest part is writing is a solitary activity. You do it by yourself or with a partner, and building a community, building a network of fellow writers, of connections to producers, of first steps, of opportunities is really what we're doing. So it's very thrilling. We thank you all for supporting and being a part of it. And a quick check-in with last year's winners to tell you how it's gone. Vandy Beth, who won our short film competition, she got additional funding for her short film at the Writers Festival in Dallas last fall. She's preparing to launch a Indiegogo to fund the rest of it right now. That's in process. We just saw her in Atlanta. Soraya Silver and Monet Noel Marshall, who won the screenplay competition, flew out to LA, and they met with Ryan Murphy's company, Greg Berlanti's company, Shonda Rhimes, as well as Universal and A24, thanks to Stuart Bell, who's our board co-chair. And of course, the big one that's coming up, Del.
Yes, the big one that's coming up is play winner Jigs Burgess, and he's in the house today. He's like that Miss America who has to now give up that crown. Jigs, you better get that crown and you're gonna pass it on today.
But wait, I know this is a terrible aside, but it made me think of that Pour One and Drop Dead Gorgeous just rolling out there. Not Jigs,
no.
not like that, like a better one.
No. And they may have to fight Jigs for that crown. I'm just saying. But what's wonderful is Jigs' show. Jigs' wonderful, beautiful play, The Red Suitcase, which we saw come to life in a reading, is now coming to life on stage. P3 theater company that is one of our partners is producing it right here in Hollywood, down the street from us. I walked to the theater the other day, and you drove. I know you did, and you wouldn't even give me a ride back. But we were able to give P330 a $10,000 grant, and there's more exciting news about that production coming up. We're not going to announce it today, but some really, really exciting news.
So that is where we have been and now where we are going. Every year we are working to expand our programming and opportunities. So our big exciting announcement this year is that in addition to the cash prizes for the winner, we've expanded our cash awards. And this year, every finalist will receive a $250 cash award presented in memory of Carol Cook by a donor. And then each of the semifinalists will receive an $100 award sponsored by Tony Maeda. So we are working each year to increase what we are doing and where we are going. And all right, we've hemmed and hawed enough, and we know that you're really here to see and find out the exciting scripts whose work our jurors and readers have loved. And shall we get to it?
Yes, I got the drum roll going.
Oh, that's good. It sounds just like it.
It sounds like a drum. Okay, so these are, let me do my announcer voice. These are the semifinalists in the short film web series category and winners of 100 cash award, sponsored by the amazing and very handsome Tony Maeda.
Great. Rate them.
Oh, I need to read them.
See, they're in yellow.
Well, I printed it out and it's not in yellow anymore. Nathan D. Blankenship for The Final Touch. Sharita Marshall Bolden for The Lesbian Experience. Matt Morse Camp. And Matt was a finalist last year. So congratulations to all three of y'all for the runners up. And you get money this year, Matt.
I forgot Nathan Blankenship was also a semifinalist last year. And we'll tell you something special about Sharita a little later on. And then our two finalists in the short web series category and winners of a $250 cash award presented in memory of Carol Cook are J.J. Hamilton for The Spaces They Built. And then our runner-up finalist in the short category is John Medlin for Hey Kiddo. And John Medlin was a semifinalist last year. So we have been thrilled to see writers bringing new work year after year and seeing that continue to grow. So thank you to everyone who submitted in the short and web series category. And congratulations to our semifinalists and finalists.
And boom, the winner of Best Short Film Web Series Award goes to William Avery. Is it Metlock?
Yes, it is Metlock.
Yes. Okay. For Smoke Break, which you know, I like I don't smoke, but here he is.
Be like, all right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our broadcast the winner of the short film category, William Avery Metlock.
Yeah, I said it right. Good.
Oh my God, Del, the German sure got you, huh?
I know. You know what? It's 5 here, and it feels like I feel like I've just been drinking, but all I've been drinking is Celsius, William. So, and we go back a little bit, William. I mean, we met this year.
Oh my God, yes.
You and Emerson and I met.
Experience with you.
Please tell us.
Oh my God. All right. So I met both of y'all about a year ago at the Stamp Film Festival, which is a local queer film festival in Pensacola, Florida, which is where I'm currently living in right now. And you guys kind of had this panel filled with other accomplished individuals that are kind of in the industry, basically where you guys give your advice and everything and tell your stories as successful creatives. And I had a very interesting experience where I went up and asked a question. The specific question was, what is y'all's inspirations? Because I think it's so important to gather other people's inspirations as well as your own. And I had a friend who was working the event specifically, and he took the mic and everything, talked my ear off and everything, and just, you guys essentially came in and gave me those extra words of encouragement. So then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna catch them after. And I spoke with y'all afterwards, just kind of explaining how much of a positive influence you guys are, just simply being there and, you know, giving your words of encouragement and everything to other young queer creatives. And we kind of kept in touch after that, you know, here and there on social media. And yeah, we kind of have like a little bit of a history, and it was just really, really amazing. That experience was sort of the big push for me to kind of do the work that I do now. So yeah.
But you told us that I remember where we were. We were right by that cheese tray, I think, right?
Yes,
right,
the charcuterie board. Or something. It was something like that.
Yes, it was huge. It was we just planted ourselves by the cheese. But I remember you saying something which I think is really good advice, that your experience was you knew about the foundation, you knew about the festival, I mean the writer search, but you said, I've got a lot of unfinished scripts, right? You were like, I don't know, and I'm not sure, but I think that Emerson said, do a short film. You have time.
So the entire so really that conversation was just kind of like, well, just do it. Yeah. Just do it. And that was like, I mean, there are so many people, they kind of give you flowery words of encouragement where they don't necessarily know how to go about it. And so the way that you and Emerson both really just put it was just like, there is nothing wrong with just doing it. That's right. And it was very short and sweet, but it really struck a chord with me in a very positive way, in that I was just kind of like, yeah, I could just do it. And so now with pretty much any that really changed my mindset with not just the work that I do, but also with anything in life, where I kind of have this improv mantra where I just say, okay, and every single time that I have this, every single time that I have a negative thought, I just kind of go back to that conversation of, okay, like, I'm just going to do it. Like, I have this idea. All right, I'm just going to do it. And so I did it, and it clearly paid off right now.
William, that somebody came up to me recently, and I was very inspired by you, because they said to me, it was at another function, and they said, I wrote a play and I didn't submit this year because I was a little bit scared. And I'm like, what did you have to lose? You just I mean, you know, well, you could lose, but
even then, really, like, it's like you're still in the same place that you are already.
But you're not losing, because look at the people who came back. Because writing is about rewriting, and it's like, okay, I didn't win this year. I'm going to rework this play, and I'm going to resubmit it. And I said, you better submit that play next year. And she promised me she would.
Yeah, she should. Like, if anything, you can be a freaking winner. And I'd be like, hey, girl.
In fact, one of our entire panels at the festival that we will always do is about making your own work. You know, for me, there is nothing more irksome than someone seemingly, you know, beyond you successful wise, who's like, oh, you know, you just sort of like, be true to yourself. No, what do I do tomorrow? Like, what do I do today? Like, what's the, and they're not always the easiest or the most fun answers, but that's a big part of our approach to everything, is what is really doable. You wrote a $300 million sci-fi fantasy film. Great. That might be hard to achieve, but if you write a 3-person film that all takes place in a trailer, you might be able to shoot that for $30,000. You know, like, that's a big part of our ethos, is how to make the real things possible. And it's so inspiring to have met you. I mean, I remembered it from the other side of how great it was to meet you in Pensacola, and to have you talk about, this is where I'm at and this is what I'm working on. And where are you from, by the way? Let's back up.
So I always say, like, I have 2 places that I say I'm from. Okay. So I'm originally, I say originally, and then I'm currently living in Pensacola, but I was born in a small town called Career, Mississippi. It's so small that people even in Mississippi can't even tell you where it is. Like, it's that tiny. And or Picayune is kind of the word that people throw
That one's
around.
more known, yeah.
So yeah, Picayune, Mississippi. I lived there up until I was about 6 years old, and then Hurricane Katrina happened, and then I pretty much lived in southern Boca Raton, Florida, when I was up until I was about 18, and I moved up to Pensacola when I was up for college, essentially. So I've pretty much been living there ever since. Or living here ever since. So for about 5 to 6 years, I've been living in Pensacola. So now every single time that people see me, I just say I'm from Pensacola because, like I said, I've been living here for about 5 to 6 years now at this point. So
yeah. And then now, Smoke Breaks, your winning script. Tell us what it's about and where the idea came from.
So Smoke Breaks is a very funny story because it's about essentially a trans man and his boyfriend who are currently in the midst of kind of a sex crisis. It's just not, it's the passion just really isn't there. They've been living together for 2 years or so, and things just really aren't spicy. And so he goes to work, he works at a hair salon, and him and his coworker / best friend Cece go on a smoke break where they kind of talk about, they kind of do like, how's your relationship going, stuff like that kind of talk. And she basically is like, so he tells her like, oh, this is what's going on, things aren't as spicy. And she basically gives him a tarot card reading, and through the tarot card reading, you slowly start to see things slowly unfold between Leon and his boyfriend Roger. And I'm not going to spoil
right. You don't have to give us the ending.
That's pretty much the gist. And
but I love it. I just love that. Used to we gathered around water coolers, but in the South, it's a smoke break. It really is.
That was essentially the central theme. So it was really ultimately inspired by my older sister that I grew up with. She is 17 years older than me, so she's basically like a second mom, but she always worked in a hair salon, and that was the thing that she would do with both her coworkers and her clients, was they would go on smoke breaks. And I swear to God, they would like, people would spill the most intimate details of their lives, and I just thought it was the most fascinating thing to me, because I remember while I was writing the script, I was like, something that could literally kill you, can you make a bond with another person? And I was like, that is such a unique kind of interaction, because people look at cigarettes and everything, and it's, so many health problems and everything like that. But at the same time, some of my most intimate conversations that I've had with people, I met some really, really great friends over smoke breaks. Even though I'm not a smoker, I still join. I call myself a lighter boy. And those conversations that I've had throughout the years was really the inspiration for this short film. Plus, I felt that there really isn't enough trans male representation in art and entertainment and everything. And I really wanted to make the central focus, the story of a trans male, because, or specifically a queer trans male, because I mean, other than Gottmik and maybe maybe Elliot Page, we don't necessarily see a lot of characters having their story told in the lens of a trans male character. So yeah,
William, how old is your trans man character?
So he is about in his early 20s, is what I would say.
I have your actor. So when you get to it, I directed an amazing trans actor in a play in Natchitoches, Louisiana. So when you get to the casting,
oh my God, that's so local. That's like 4 hours away.
He's amazing actor.
And to that, the lead of our screenplay winner last year, one of the two leads was a Black trans male character. Yes. And it was a 2.5-month process specifically in Dallas, because we wanted to use local actors to find a Black trans male actor, because the roles and the opportunities aren't there. So not only are you telling our stories, you're making opportunities for our community and the actors from it to also have something to rise to. So congratulations, William.
Can I say one more thing, William, to you? I want you to know something. The one thing that we do here at the Del Shores Foundation is you don't just get a check and go away. You are now part of our Del Shores Foundation family. I will help you. Just like I just said, I've got an actor for you. I will look at yours. Yesterday, I was working with Vandy Beth on her wonderful screenplay, and I said, okay, you can combine these two scenes, and that cuts this amount of money, and so our past and expertise are here for you. And that guy right there in the screen is one of the best producers that exists. So he's got some good advice too.
What he means is you're stuck with us. Sorry.
That's right.
You know what? I'm happy with it.
Truly, William, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Thank you for coming tonight. We truly are thrilled to have you as a part of our family. And this is the beginning of a grand adventure together.
And your enthusiasm when you won, when we called you on that Zoom, is one of my favorite things ever.
Oh my God.
All right, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, moving on.
Oh, yes.
We just got back from a 3-city fundraising tour of the South, because all of these things take exciting things to pay for, and got to meet with a bunch of our board members and some funders and donors. And that was very exciting and productive.
Yeah, we went to Birmingham, and we started in Atlanta. And our good friend Mitchell Anderson hosted us at Metro Fresh. Little plug there. If you're in Atlanta, go to that restaurant. It was fantastic food. And then we went to our board member, Mason McCulley, hosted us in Birmingham. And our good friends, the Beards, were there, Louise and John, and some of our theater partners, Tam. And then we went to Nashville to Desmond Child and Curtis Child's house, and they have this amazing house. If you don't know who Desmond Child is, just look him up on Wikipedia and you'll just be like, oh my God, he wrote that too. Amazing songwriter. And but here's the thing. We raised quite a bit of money, and thank you all who donated and are supporting the Del Shores Foundation. We still have 2 naming opportunities. So if you're in the chat room and you got, you want your name to be sponsoring the short film award, if you want it to sponsor his award and the production grant, then that's available. $3,000 will get you that naming opportunity, and then $10,000 for you with deeper pockets can sponsor the play production grant that went to Jigs Burgess last year, and we'll find out who it goes to pretty soon. So this year. So yes, if you have, look, here's the way we always look at it, right, Emerson? It's don't give us money that you're going to miss.
Please
don't. Do not, if you go, oh, well, I may not be able to pay rent. No, do not do that. But if you got that money, you're not going to miss. You're going to make a huge difference in some storytellers' lives by donating to the Del Shores Foundation. And we thank you.
Yes, and those 2 giant naming opportunities are fantastic, and we appreciate our donors at every level, and a bunch of our ambassadors are here today as well. So we are grateful and putting to good use your contributions at every opportunity. And we're continuing to expand the organization. We are associated with a number of theater companies and film festivals. Our theater partners, every year, they all agree to read the winning play to consider it for producing in their season. The film festivals agree to see any finished short films, because we're about building community and networking. And we've added new theater partners this year, including, we'd like to welcome the Austin Rainbow Theater, the Wheat Ridge Theater Company, Town and Gown, I love that name, Tennessee Playwright Studio, and the Fondren Theater Workshop are all new to us this year. And we will be sending the winning play to them this week for consideration. And so it's exciting. We are continuing to grow as we help these writers grow. So moving on to our next category.
Yes, moving on, but I have to say, Town and Gown. Hey, how may I direct your call? So Town and Gown. It's
like you can just hear the clip-on earring come off in order to pick up the phone, right? Town and Gown, how can I help you?
I've got one in front of you. Hold on, please. Town and Gown.
We sure do. All right.
That's very good space work, Emerson. So our next
Excellent.
category is Best Screenplay. And the semifinalists awarded a $100 cash prize sponsored by Tony Mayetta are Ellie Black, First Girl, and Brent Duncan, Homeland Insecurity, Courtney Harrell, Courtney Harrell, Proud, Adam Murphy, The Pain Body, and Chesalyn Wade, Sweet Kentucky Tea, who was the lead in our short film reading last year. So
yeah,
that was such a wonderful surprise when we saw that she entered the best screenplay and came in as a semifinalist.
And it was very, it's very special. It's like building and continuing our community to grow and expand within itself. I don't think Chaselyn would mind me sharing that Chaselyn came to us by someone who recommended her to play the lead in Vandy Beth's short film, and Chaselyn said she was inspired by the festival to write her own story as a screenplay for the first time. So the screenplay came from being at the festival. It's the first screenplay she's written, and so we were emailing last night about how excited she was. So we really are spreading our community in as many ways as possible. And so congratulations
yes.
to all of them. Adam Murphy is here, so thank you so much. Thrilled to be included.
Adam, I feel like that's my story, The Pain Body. I just, as I've gotten older, The Pain Body.
It's definitely the story of my peers lately trying to get off of couches. Y'all, my friends have reached that age where they start making sounds just getting off the sofa. It's like, oh, the pain body.
Shut up.
What? I'm not even
Don't
talking
talk about
you.
me. I'm right here. I am right here. Don't
I'm
talk
not talking about you behind your back. I'm talking about you in front of your face.
I know
Rosemary
you
said,
are.
love to see these women contributing. Absolutely.
So, yes.
The range and breadth of identities and ages among our winners is extremely exciting as well. And then, oh, did you go somewhere?
Oh, no. It's just this problem I'm having with my computer, and I apologize, but I'm getting better.
All right. Well, in moving on to the finalists in the screenplay category, it is thrilling for us to share that this year's finalists include Sharita Marshall Bolden for Wishes, Steve Holbert for You, Me, and Evil, Robbie Robertson for Pretty Ugly, and the runner-up in the screenplay category, given a special designation by our jurors, Catherine Vouvray with Let's Go. And
Let's go.
Let's go. Lesbian. I like a wordplay type moment.
I do too.
Let's go.
I like that. Let's go. And Sharita, that's the second time we've had that name.
Yeah. So for a first for our writer search, we've had multiple writers contribute. Submit in multiple categories, but Sharita Marshall Bolden has the distinction of being the first writer to become a semifinalist or finalist in two different categories in the same year for her short film, The Lesbian Experience, and then here in the film category. So a special shout out to Sharita, who was watching earlier. And Catherine, our runner-up, is watching as well. So congratulations, Catherine.
Catherine. Hi, Catherine.
To meet and to have you. And exciting here in the screenplay category. And then let's see. Let me see if I can get
that graphic. I'm sorry, I jumped it a while ago. I'm going to get in trouble with Emerson after this broadcast.
I know. No, you're doing great. It's a lot of pieces. It's just I made the graphics. I want to be able to use them.
Y'all, I want to say something before you do this, Emerson, because y'all, I show up and I don't even do that well when I show up. I'm fumbling papers. Emerson put this all together with every graphic. He's our program director and he's amazing. And thank you, sir, for all of the work that you do. It's a lot of work.
That, but it is my joy and my pleasure. And Sharita is here. So thank you. Beyond excited. So truly to all of the writers that are tuning in and watching, it really is exciting to be joining together as this new class and community together for the first time. And I am officially ready for you
Are
to
you ready?
announce.
Are you ready for
Yes.
the drum roll? I'm not going to even try with
Yes.
the pencils. And the
Yes.
winner of Best Screenplay and a $3,000 cash award sponsored by Cindy Warner and Michelle Ryan, our good friends from Palm Springs, is Timothy J. Smith for Istanbul Crossing.
Yay, Timothy!
Congratulations, my friend.
And then I should be able to magically.
Timothy.
And now, please welcome our Best Screenplay Award winner for his screenplay, Istanbul Crossing, Timothy J. Smith.
Hello, thank
Hello,
you.
Timothy.
Hey, Timothy. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very thrilled with this honor.
It's
As
very
are
exciting
we.
for us. Share with the people at home the story of your screenplay.
It's basically a story based on Syrian refugees living in Istanbul. The main character is a young gay Syrian refugee who watched his cousin be executed by Islamic State for being homosexual, and he left his little town in Syria and went to Istanbul and is just struggling to get by. He's a smuggler of other refugees to Greece, and he's got a good reputation as an honest guy, an honest broker. And in the course of really the same 24 hours after he's been there a while, both the CIA and Islamic State approach him to help smuggle what they call high-profile individuals between Turkey and Greece, which puts him in a lot of danger. But in the course of that, of juggling these two different operations for really enemy parties, Islamic State and CIA are actually at war with each other. He meets two different men who he falls in love with and has to choose between one of them because they offer him very different futures.
Oh, I love it. And inspiration. I know you're a traveler and your passion is so intense for this world, and I love that.
Thanks. I feel passionately about it too. Where this really comes from is that in around when the refugee crisis in Greece became such an enormous problem. In fact, I've been going to Greece. My partner and I have been going to the same little village in Greece for the last 30 years every spring. And it just by coincidence, our island and our village was ground zero for the refugee crisis. The village has about 1,500 people in it. 500,000 people landed adjacent to the village on the beach in a 12-month period in about 2017. And during those years, during the real peak of all that, we were very much involved with helping the refugees in a lot of different ways, which I can go into in detail, but I don't really need to. It was a lot of work, and we did a lot of stuff. We helped in big ways. And when that was over, in a sense, I wrote a novel set at the time with that as a background, the refugee crisis as a background, but set in Greece. But I realized that it wasn't really my refugee story. It was just sort of a reason why there were certain conflicts going on in this village, and I wanted to explore those. Mm-hmm. But I could tell you from the moment that a refugee set foot off the raft onto Greek soil, I could probably describe exactly what his or her travel was going north into Europe every step of the way. But I had no way, I didn't really know what it was like for those refugees to get on a raft in Turkey and cross basically 4 or 5 miles of a wide channel and a dangerous channel to get to the shores of a Greek island. So I went to Istanbul and met with some Syrians there and met with smugglers and asked people sort of how this whole thing happened from the refugee perspective to get them on on the rafts. And that was where the idea of the story came from. There was something else that I also saw around that time, which is I saw the execution on videotape of young gay men by the Islamic State, where they would take them up to 12-story high buildings and throw them off. And if they didn't actually die from the fall, they had conveniently put a pile of stones in the streets so that people could then stone them to death. And it was such a shocking thing to me that I felt like I had to tell a story that involved that somehow. And that's the incident that actually sets my main character on the road to go to Istanbul, is watching his cousin being thrown off the rooftop and being thrown to his death.
Well, and I read it last night, and what I loved about how you framed all of that is that it's a very complicated world that he inhabits, but I love the relationships between the people, the action drives forward. He sort of ends up in the sphere of these two different men offering two very different lives, and how he goes about arriving at the decision. So it's a really compelling and exciting story set in the midst of a really complicated situation.
Yes, thank you. It is complicated.
Yeah, and you know, I talk about this a lot to my students. I go, write what you know, and your voice, and use your voice and your passions. And I love that you did that, and it wasn't just a Google research. That, I mean, you lived and breathed this.
Explain how you ended up deciding to start writing the screenplays of your novels.
Well, it started really when I was writing my first novel. This novel is my fifth novel. It's called Istanbul Crossing, and so Screenplay is the same title. But I was at the Fine Arts Work Center in P-Town, Cape Cod, and started a class with Sebastian Junger, who had written The Perfect Storm, and he just sold the film rights to it. And I asked if he was going to write the screenplay, and he said, no, that's not how the industry worked. He would have nothing to do with it. They didn't want the author of the book to actually work on the screenplay. And I thought, well, okay, that may be how the industry works, but I would like to know enough to have some artistic input into a screenplay. Mm-hmm. If any of my novels ever got, somebody wanted the film rights. And I started writing screenplay adaptations of all my novels as really my last editing, because it keeps you, with a novel, you can go on for hundreds of pages. With a screenplay, you got 120 pages of mostly white paper, with a line of dialogue going down the middle, maybe a few lines of action or setting description in. It's a very, very, very complicated thing to do. It's a very hard thing. And I like the challenge of it. It's a lot of fun. But I tell people, it's like trying to put War and Peace into a haiku.
It is. I mean, and you just have to go, oh no, I have to kill this one off, or I have to
definitely kill your darlings.
You're originally from Palm Springs, a place that we know and love extremely well.
Yes, I am. Right. Yeah.
And then your partner Michael, correct?
Yes.
But then the two of you moved to Florida together.
Right.
But what's so crazy is like you grew up in Palm Springs. Y'all are rare. It's like everybody else just moves there. That's our last stomping ground, so to speak. I love Palm Springs. So
yeah, I do. Actually, it was a great place to grow up. I started really writing when I was a kid, and there was around us a lot of artistic influence in a sense, because even my high school had like the best theater in town, and we would get great concert pianists. We'd get Edward Albee. We'd get people coming down and producing things in our little theater. It was great. So it was a great place to grow up.
But also, please tell the people at home who you just casually lived down the street from growing up.
Well, it makes me sound like I grew up in a very wealthy way, which I did not do. I will say that I grew up in a house that had no furniture for several years because there was no money for it. I started working at 12 so I could buy myself a desk. I'm that serious of a writer that at 12 years old, I wanted a desk, right? Oh. But it was like Loretta Young, there was Elizabeth Taylor, Alan Ball, Liberace. They were all basically just right down the street. It was like you never saw them because they all lived really private lives. But
I would have seen them. I would have taken over a casserole.
I'll tell you, I sat down, had coffee with Zsa Zsa Gabor one time, and
just casual, sure.
Paul Newman and who was walking down the street arm in arm and this sort of stuff. Oh, I had a banana split across the soda fountain counter with Sonny and Cher. So things like that.
That's some life stories. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I was a delivery boy for the local drugstore, and I actually delivered drugs to Elvis Presley.
wow.
But they're illegal.
So you knew who was pilling.
Yeah. Yeah, I did actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Timothy, it is such a pleasure for us to meet you. Thank you so much for
Yes.
sharing your script and your story, Istanbul Crossing, with us. And we're so excited to begin and continue this relationship with you and the foundation.
I'm
Yeah,
equally
we can't wait to
excited.
meet
Thank
you in
very much.
person.
I'm
So
looking forward to it. It'll be
awesome.
great.
Thank you for being here today.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Uh,
That was so interesting. I just loved his passion. I loved his journey to get to that screenplay. I mean, it just shows you. I mean, if you have a sister who takes smoke breaks, write about that. If you have, something a little more serious to write about that. Really great.
That's exactly right.
One of the people that we love and adore in the sordid world is Rosemary Alexander, and she co-chairs the Ambassador Program, the Ambassador Circle Program with the Del Shores Foundation with Jim Levesque, our good friend, two of our board members. And for $25 a month, you can just put that on a credit card. It's like the same price of a cocktail here at the Abbey, or maybe 3 over in Birmingham. I noticed they're a little cheaper down there, but just $25 a month, and put it on your credit card. You don't even have to think about it, and you become a part of our Ambassador Circle, and you get all the news first. And we ask that you share our news first, and just contribute. And you don't have to do 25 either. We have people that contribute as much as 100 a month. So just whatever. So we have a lot of 3209s, which I just love. So please, I would love to have right now, just sign up after this broadcast, sign up, and I get notices. You'll get a little personal email from me and Rosemary and Jim thanking you. So yes, Rosemary says we need more ambassadors. Please sign up and become an ambassador. You become an insider. I like that. I like the way she said that.
Well, also, and I love that. Set it and forget it. Look, sign up every month. We'll take your money without you having to remember. It's honestly the friendliest way we could do it. And Rob Dietrich is one of our 3209 ambassadors. And Erica's one of our strongest supporters and said, I should up mine. You do enough.
Do it right now, Erica. Well, but here's the thing. When we have a certain amount, it continues to just help us learn and grow and do our jobs to make it all happen. So we are a small organization, y'all. It does not take a big budget. There are CEOs of foundations and nonprofits who make 3 times as much as our annual budget. So thank you all who support us. That's what I really need to say.
Absolutely. And the more we grow, the more we can do. So we are grateful to those who have gotten us here, but don't you worry that we have ideas and thoughts for growing and going. All right, it is time for our final category.
And plays are near and dear to my heart. If you could see up there, it's just full of plays, and I consider myself a storyteller, but it all started in the theater for me. So this category is really special to me. These semifinalists are all awarded 100 cash, again sponsored by Tony Maeda. And our semifinalists are F. Lynn Baklida. Do I have to? I love that one. I love that title. Logan Collins. Are we there yet? I like these questions. Preston Crowder wrote Balking. And then Bethany Dickens Asif wrote Sword Art Real Life. And John Mabey wrote Impossible Theories of Us. So there you go, our semifinalists in the playwriting. And y'all, it takes effort to write a play.
It sure does. And that's Bethany Dickens Asaf.
Oh,
Or
Asaf.
short
I'm sorry.
art,
You
really.
wrote it out exactly that. And I said, what did I say?
I sure did write it out phonetically for you and everything.
But I just went to Texas and said Asaf or something crazy.
Be like, but congratulations to
yes,
all of our
all of
finalists, semifinalists. I know Lynn and John were both with us earlier. Congratulations to both of them. And thank you for being with us and for your incredible contributions. And then Rose, look at Rosemary. She's so good. Look, she wrote them all out. She said, Eflin, Preston, Logan, and Bethany, congratulations. Like, we are a supportive family, you know.
We really are.
At the reunions, everyone will know your name.
Oh, there's John.
Yes, there's John. See, John, maybe I can't wait to read all these plays. And Emily said special congrats to John and Bethany. Love y'all. See, I know some of these people know each other. And since she just said it, I'll get on to the second part of this category, knowing that she is sitting right there waiting for her name to be said. The finalists this year and winners of a $250 cash award presented in memory of Carol Cook are David Allen Grindstaff for The Bachelor Party, Hank Ryan, Truth Is, Emily McLean, The Poet, The Spy, and The Dark Lady, Barry Smoot, Revelations, and Kaylin Willoughby, A Date to My Sister's Wedding. Now, before we take that off screen, a lesson in perseverance, etc. Last year, Emily McLean submitted a screenplay that was a semifinalist. Kaylin was a finalist last year in this same category with a different script. So, you know, continuing to see everyone's work and writing reappear, we are a community that continues together. So congratulations to all of you. And I want to pop a couple of them are here. Hank Ryan, I'm so excited, is in tech for Spam-A-Lot, but we paused and our entire company of 61 is watching. I don't think Hank will even mind me sharing this. Hank is a professor of theater at Valdosta in Georgia, and shared that having been directing for many, many years and is the leader of an arts community there, wrote this in the pandemic. And so it joins our community as a writer with a long experience as an art creator in his community. So Hank, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. And congratulations to the Spam-A-Lot cast and crew. We hope your tech goes well and smoothly and easily.
Yes, we've all been there, and just love that you are creating theater right now, and that people get to come see it again. And Kaylin, you know, you're near and dear to my heart. Kaylin was one of my students and at Northwestern State University. So proud of you and continuing your journey.
And Barry Smoot, congratulations to you. John Medlin shouting out Kaylin, people knowing each other. Matt Morse, who's been a finalist and a semifinalist. Wait, Kaylin, I know I thought about this. For those of y'all from our first year, Kaylin said, and this year I get money for it. Yep, see, as we grow, things change.
Well,
people...
you know, Kaylin won another play, a 10-minute play contest recently and got some money there. So you're a paid writer now, Kaylin.
Emily said, so excited to be back. Love this group and the support of new work. So now I know, Hank, we know y'all have to go back. Y'all go do your tech. And so, oh, and there's Lynn. Wait, I was waiting for Lynn's. So grateful for what you are doing. So one, it's thrilling that all of you came to be a part of this with us. We really do. Community is the part of this we love the most. But our one final big announcement. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready. Drum roll, please. And the winner of Best Play goes to Lee Osorio for A Third Way. And congratulations, Lee. We were in Atlanta the day that Lee won and got to visit with him not only on Zoom, but we had like I said, that event at Mitchell Anderson's restaurant, and Lee showed up, and it was so amazing for us to be able to fundraise and say, and our winner is here, and he is here today, isn't he?
Yes, and so please welcome the winner of a $3,000 cash prize sponsored by our good friends Jeffrey Johnson and Michael Keegan. Please welcome to our show extravaganza, Lee Osorio. Wait, you unmute.
You'd think I've been on Zoom long enough to figure this out. Hi.
Hi,
Hey,
Lee. Congratulations
Lee.
and welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, likewise.
I will say, as I managed the juries and all of the readers the last few weeks as they were going, and then once the jurors decided that Lee was the winner, and I realized Lee is based in Atlanta, we got all excited and sent him an email saying, "Hey, are you available for a casual Zoom? Strangely, between these 2 hours on Friday morning." So that hopefully we could get together and tell him, "Yeah, you've won, and also can you please come and meet us tonight?" So we've already met in person.
Yeah, it was wonderful to see you all. Nice to see you again. Thank you.
And you just got a congratulations from last year's winner, who has his play opening in August here in Los Angeles. Jigs, get that crown off your head and give it back, give it away.
Y'all, that's why we don't do tiaras. We just knew it would, it's too many. It's to pass it on. People just will not give them up.
I just covered up my image again. Lee, it was such a great feeling to meet you in person right after this happened. That was so special for us. And I understand that we have something in common. You are an actor. You started as an actor, correct?
I did, yes, correct.
So how did you start writing?
Yeah, I mean, so my dad is from Venezuela, and I'm, a queer man. And for the first, I would say like 10, 15 years of my life, I really didn't get very many roles that got to show off my own lived experience. I, basically was living in this white passing body and playing a lot of white men. I played Mr. Darcy 3 times, and I loved me some Pride and Prejudice, but I don't really want to play, Mr. Darcy for the rest of my life. So I decided to start writing, and like Emerson has said tonight, and like you've said, Del, you got to create your own content. If the stories that you tell are out there, then put pen to paper and make that happen. So that's really how I got started writing, and I've had some tremendous mentors, some in school, but mostly here in Atlanta. There's a group called Working Title Playwrights that I'll just give a quick shout out to, because I know that Emily is a part of that group and John is a part of that group. And Atlanta has some really exciting playwrights, Davin as well, I know personally. So it's so exciting to see so many amazing Atlanta writers in the finalists and semifinalists for this.
Oh, y'all were well represented. We were like, what was going on here? But we were, it's always thrilling to me because I do teach, and sometimes I know some of the writers. I have to, I always say, like Jeff Sessions did it, he had to recuse himself. Well, I always have to recuse myself from anything. I don't even know. It's always a shock to me when Emerson said, well, here are the finalists, and I know somebody, I get so excited. And then I kind of listen in when, I'm sorry, my dogs are, stop it.
Those little bitches.
Don't make me come over there. It's just thrilling to me to hear the passion that the judges have as they're deciding who is to win. And I'm going, their fate is in your hands right now. But it's so great. And I have to tell you, there was so much enthusiasm for your play, and I am thrilled for you and for us.
So share with the viewing experience. What's the story of A Third Way?
Yeah, so basically, Nico and Matt have been married for about 6 years. They've been together for 10, and their relationship is fine. Or basically, that's what they'd say to anybody asking about it. But it's more of, it's less of a like fine wine and more of a like, yeah, that place was fine. I don't really need to eat there ever again. So in an attempt to sort of shake things up, at the suggestion of their couples counselor, who suggested that they find something to do together, they decide to find someone to do together and to open up their relationship. And as they start to queer the boundaries of what their relationship has been, it goes a lot further than they anticipate. And so there's this question of like, what does it mean to be married for a long time? I think lots of audiences can relate to, whether or not they're in the queer community, whether they're not, whether they're in a open relationship or not. And one of the things that I'm excited about is this is not a moralizing play. This is not, if you open your relationship, it's a fatal attraction situation and you're going to end up with a dead bunny in your house. It really is asking us to think about how we address these big issues like loneliness and what happens when we have everything that capitalism tells us that we should have, the house and the pets and the children or the not children, or the job and the not job, and how do we find fulfillment in community, which is something I feel like we keep getting driven further and further away from. So it's really about queering our worldview.
You know, Lee, I just love, I mean, here I am fighting with my dogs trying to listen to your explanation. I have not read your play yet, and I cannot wait to read it, because I love that kind of play so much, where it gets into relationships and the psychology and the fabric of a relationship, where it's not like, I don't get me wrong. I love Istanbul Crossing. I love that kind of film and play as well. But I do like the simplicity of the relate. You know what I mean? It makes for such good fodder. And I feel like that. You know what's going to happen is people are going to go, "Oh, I can relate to that. Oh, I can relate to that." You're going to see a lot of people that echo. You might have a lot of people say, "Well, we try to three-way it because of your play."
It's so producible when you just, as one setting, 4 characters, so producible. So
yes.
Well, also, I mean, as we launch Pride Month, it could not be a more perfect time to consider, what does queerness mean to each of us? What is realizing that we exist outside already of the boundaries of a particular kind of Western patriarchal, misogynistic, ethnocentric, religious, all of the boundaries, that once you step outside of one of them, the creativity that is available to test and play and push, and that there isn't a right or wrong in where and how you move all of your boundaries. That's a lovely exploration that I think speaks regardless of being a member of our community or not. It's an expansion, period. I love that.
It was great. We did a reading of this in Alabama at the Alabama Shakespeare Festival and their Southern Writers Festival this past March. And there was a 70-year-old woman who had been monogamously married to her husband for 50 years, but she came up and said, this reminds me of so many conversations I've had with my husband about, what actually works for us. And I think that's a question that everyone really has to ask if they're in any kind of long-term relationship, romantic, familial, friendship, whatever it is. Like, how do we make love last when it takes work?
It does. And I failed miserably so many times.
I know you have. I know you have.
But things are going well now. So
I love seeing you two together in Atlanta. It seems I have a good feeling. So
it's not the falling down, it's the getting back up.
Amen.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just, getting to an age where you go, oh, it didn't have to be that complicated, Yeah.
Well, and I also love your story of like telling your own story, being an Atlanta man and being an extremely successful actor there, as we've learned, and also directing. Yes.
I'm directing my first show at Emory University this fall. I had my first design meeting. But I have never gotten to see a full production of my work. And I just want to say thank you so much, because there's so many festivals out there that give you a one-time award, or they, give you like, $500 cash to get the production grant, which, in case you didn't hear before, is $10,000. It doesn't guarantee that a production will happen, but it is such a huge step forward. I have conversations with 2 theaters in the next 3 days about getting this produced next year. And I know a large part of that is because of this grant. So I just want to say thank you for putting that, building that into the foundation of this foundation. It's such a huge deal, and so different than what other people are doing to ensure that these works are not just like in festivals, getting read by lit agents, never produced, because so many plays can end up in that sort of development purgatory. So thank you.
That's right. You're going to get produced. I mean, I know it for 2 reasons, because we're going to see that happens. But man, your ambition is like what I teach and tell people to have. You have to believe in yourself, and you do. And there's a confidence there, and good for you. And I love both of those theater companies that you talked to Emerson about. I've stepped on both of those stages with one-man shows, so they're near and dear to my heart. So it would thrill me if either one of them said yes, or and I want to make a prediction. It's not just there's going to be lots and lots of productions of this, lots.
Yeah,
well, and that's just from Lee's work and a conversation I had with one we're not ready to talk about, and we still haven't sent it out to the other 27 theaters. Like, y'all, thank you for saying that, but it was my day one requirement when we set out to do this. I said across the board, I said, look, there's so many places people can go and get a cute certificate and a laurel and some dollars. And yes, as poor queer writers, dollars are always welcome. So not at all diminishing the importance of that to anyone and everywhere. But in Dell and my career and Dell's career and our work together, the hardest part is making the work happen. As a writer, the hardest part is the first step. And yeah, we can't guarantee things, but our one thing was like, we are going to move everyone definitively closer to real world realizations of their work. So it is our pleasure. It's thrilling to meet you. It's thrilling to have you in our family and to have your work. Thank you for sharing it with us and for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
And we will
so
all
need a reason to donate. This is an organization that's doing it right. It's led by artists. It's led by producers. They know what they're doing. They're actually giving artists the support that they need, as opposed to other people that are just sort of giving the workshop and another development opportunity. This is life-changing, this grant and the connections that they make. So thank you all.
Oh, thank you for that plug. And you were right. You are so right, Lee. And I'm going to be there. Life is, you can't promise everything, but it will be hard to keep me away from your opening night or sometime during your run. I'm very excited about this.
I know. I was like, wait, what age are these? But truly, Lee, congratulations. And thank you so much for coming to hang out with us tonight.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
It was so special being with him in Atlanta. And a reminder, the $10,000 grant to fund Lee's play. Now that you have met Lee, you have heard their story and the topic of the play that they are sharing with all of us, the naming opportunity for that grant is still available to Lee and to anyone worried. Regardless, that fund will be paid for. If you specifically want to name and fund that thing, that opportunity is still available. Lee sitting down below is like, wait a minute, do we not have the... No, don't worry, it will be covered regardless, but you can earmark specifically for that opportunity, and that is still available at delshoresfoundation.org.
Yeah, I would love to see that come in. You know, if you move that money out of the stocks while we waited for the debt ceiling thing to happen like I did, then it's just sitting there. You might just say, you know what, let's not play the stock market for a while. I don't really need this money. The Del Shores Foundation and I will have my naming opportunity for Lee's play.
And as we get to the end of our adventure here, I want to say a huge thank you to all of you for watching. Thank you to all of the writers who tuned in. I know there are some who had obligations this evening and said they'd be excited to watch it back. So we are thrilled, truly, to have all of you with us. For some wonders, yes, we were in the early stages of planning the second Del Shores Foundation Writers Festival, which will be our celebration and reading of these 3 winning scripts. We will have much more information on that as we get the details locked together. So watch out for that. It's a big highlight. We're very excited to have it. And thank you to all of our donors for all of the funds that you contribute, to all of our ambassadors for showing up, all of our boards here. There's our board chair, co-chair Stuart Bell, Leslie, who is in Atlanta, and she's on the board. And I know she's thrilled at how much Atlanta representation we had this year.
And so I saw Chad Darnell was here. Chad Darnell was here, who was on our panel last year and gave some great advice to our writers. Also, Emerson, you had such a great idea, and it has been funded, and I would love you to share that.
And so our big final, this is a brand new announcement, so thanks to all of you who stuck with us all the way to the end. This is inspired actually by Jamie Love, who's the artistic director of Sonoma Arts Live in Sonoma, California. She's one of our partners. And last year, she loved reading all of the scripts because we send all of the finalists to our partners to read and enjoy. And they didn't take the winning production grant, but she wanted to do a reading of our runner-up play. So last year, Paris Creighton III, she brought Paris to Sonoma Arts Live and did a one-night reading of his play. just because they wanted to. They put them up and did a talk back after the reading. And I said, Jamie, that is such a great idea. I'm going to steal it, and the foundation is going to fund it. So brand new this year, we are introducing a grant for live readings of the other play finalists. So except for Lee's play, the other 5 finalist plays, we are making one grant available for each of those scripts to a theater company to do a one-night reading of the play. It's a $750 grant to do the reading, to support paying the actors for that night, for getting a space and doing the reading, and an additional $750 if they will schedule it and work it out to fly in the finalist. So I hope that makes sense. It's essentially a $1,500 grant to do a one-night reading of a play finalist's play and bring in that writer to be there for the reading and do a talk back afterwards. We have some smaller theaters. We have people whose seasons are planned who can't, and some of the plays have larger casts, and it's a way to explore them. So we're very excited to announce that for the first time this evening, and it is generously funded by a donation by Wayne Morris. So that's an exciting new growth opportunity that we'll be making available to all of our partners for the play finalists.
So you finalist, it might, you know, wherever we end up having our next writers festival, you may after that have a reading of one of your plays at one of our partners. And we're continuing. Thank you, Leslie Kimball, who's helping me expand our theater, our partners. We have 5 new ones lately. So yes, onward, forward. Yep. So you know, Emerson, it's you, me, and Stuart a lot, and thank you, Stuart Bell. You're always such an amazing partner with the 3 of us. I mean, the 2 of us. I just became plural. But we also have a village that takes care of us, not only financially, but with moral support. And I don't think that I can't imagine that any organization has a more personable board that is loved and adored as much as I love and adore the board of directors of the Del Shores Foundation. There's so many here tonight, and this is how they are. They're just so supportive. And so thank you, our board of directors. Thank you to all the film festivals who are our partners. Again, our friends, we get to know you all, and our theater partners. Thank you to all the donors. Thank you all who are about to be donors. And thank you to our ambassadors. We love you so much, and we are so grateful for your support. And once again, congratulations to all the winners. We're so very proud of all of you.
And if you're watching tonight and you haven't donated to us ever before, go to delshoresfoundation.org. You can check out a lot of information about us. You can see the video from last year's festival, and I have just now hit publish on the live winners page. So you can go there and see their photos, read the stories of our winners, the synopsis of their work. You can see the links where you can connect with them on Instagram, on all the socials, to their websites. We really are about building community. Follow our social media on Instagram. I'll be posting them and introducing them to you one by one in the next few weeks. We really are. It's about building a family, extending our networks, and providing opportunities for queer storytellers to tell whatever story it is they have to tell. So thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much. Emerson Collins, thanks for putting this together. You're so amazing. Hello, Ann Walker. And y'all have an amazing evening, and happy Pride, everybody.
Bye, y'all.